Okay, I'm going to talk about two qualities that are not only extremely unattractive, but also impede personal growth. In fact, I'm not sure if there are any other qualities that impede personal growth more than these two. So without further ado, what are they? Being arrogant and being conceited. Now, the two always go hand in hand. People that are arrogant have the illusion that they're confident. But in reality, they like to pretend that they're superior to others because that makes them feel better about themselves. The reality is that deep inside, when they're alone with their personal thoughts, they feel inferior to everyone else. So they have to find something that maybe they're better at than the average person and then fixate on that as a way to overcompensate. Not because they actually feel superior, but because they feel inferior. Now, these people that are arrogant always engage in being conceited. And being conceited is just praising yourself all day long. You're not going to, you think there's a Christmas rush of people that are going to be coming to praise you. So you want to stay ahead of that trend and start praising yourself incessantly. It's extremely unattractive and it's extremely counterproductive to real growth. If you want to become exceptional at something, being arrogant and being conceited are your worst enemies. They are going to impede that progress more than anything else. And again, it's because it's the illusion of confidence. When you have genuine confidence, you feel good about yourself. Not based on what other people tell you. You just feel good about yourself. Maybe you've achieved certain things. Maybe you've become the kind of person you always wanted to be. So you feel good about yourself. Now you want other people to feel good about themselves. So you're that uplifting force. An example is just giving the context of the gym. There are always people that show up at the gym that just raise the vibration of the entire place. They're good at what they do. They don't need anyone to tell them that they're good at what they do. They feel good about themselves. They come in, they bring their best effort. They're supportive to everyone in there. They're friendly, they're kind. It's an uplifting type person that comes into this environment and just, again, increases the vibration. That's the difference between confidence and arrogance. And you don't have to be self-congratulatory because when you're doing impressive things, you're going to get praise, whether you're looking for it or not. People are going to take notice because it's rare, especially when you're not so desperate going, look at me, please look at me. I mean, I saw a guy with a Jeep, not a Jeep, it was one of those Jeep Wrangler. Yeah, it was a Jeep. It was a Jeep Wrangler, and he had all four doors removed. And then he was blasting his stereo. Okay, now here's a guy who is desperate for attention. He wants to make sure that you have to look in his direction because he's blasting the stereo. And then when you look, you go, damn, he doesn't even have any doors in that car. And then you get back to whatever you're doing. So yeah, you got a little bit of attention. You stole a little bit of energy from other people, but it didn't add to anything productive. This is the equivalent of people in the gym that apply a lot of theatrics. People that are always screaming, people that are cursing. So with each rap, you hear, "Rah! Rah! God damn it!" Rah! Like, okay, then you look over and it's someone doing lateral raises. And someone goes, "Rah! Rah!" All right. Now, I'm not going to lie. I've screamed before doing training, but it was during a maximum effort. All right. I wasn't doing a warm-up set and screaming on each rep. Now, the scream actually has a training effect. So if you're doing a really heavy deadlift and let's say you hit the sticking point just below the knees, that'll drive you through that sticking point. Now, the problem with also being really arrogant and being really conceited is you're avoiding a very important quality that actually helps improve whatever personal growth you're looking for or whatever goal you're trying to achieve. And that's actually a little bit of doubt. It's actually good to have doubt, and it's actually good to be nervous. And let me give you some examples. So I used to do a lot of seminars. I gave a lot of lectures. I used to just do a lot of public speaking. Now, most of the time, I would be a little bit nervous before doing it, even after doing it hundreds of times. And I always liked that feeling. I liked being nervous because it made me sharp. It also made me less likely to be arrogant, thinking, oh, I'm just going to go up there and kill it, and everybody's going to be hanging on every word. No, instead of feeling that way, because when you feel that way and you go up there, you're probably going to just dial it in, and you're going to go through the motions, and you're going to be so focused on how you think you're being perceived that you're going to take away from being present. Now, when you're a little bit nervous, you're focused on that energy. And all you have to do is transmute that nervousness into what you're doing, and you're going to have a better performance. I mean, Georges St. Pierre in the UFC, he said that he was always nervous on the walk out to the octagon. He wasn't going, oh yeah, I'm all jacked up, I can't wait to get in there. No, he was nervous. And once he got in there, then he was able to dial in and perform at a very high level. But he never lied about being nervous. I think that's actually a good thing. That nervousness brings out the best in you. Now the problem is that the nervousness allows you to take advantage of pressure. If the pressure is too high, then it can be overwhelming. I mean, you could have pressure so high that you get into such an agitated state, you don't even know what your name is. Obviously, you're not going to perform at a high level then. Not early in my career as a fitness person, but in a previous job, I remember just totally bombing, giving a public lecture, and I've told this story a million times. And the pressure was so high, I choked. And honestly, if someone asked me my name at that moment, I probably wouldn't have been able to answer. So that's an example of just being overwhelmed by pressure. So the goal is not to get rid of that nervousness. The goal is to transmute that into whatever you're trying to do. I like to play blackjack, and the most exciting part of blackjack is when, let's say you have a sizable bet, or a bet that's a good amount of money that it's meaningful to you. In that moment, that split second where you don't know whether you won or lost, especially when it looks like you're about to lose and then you win. So for those of you that played blackjack, maybe I have 2 kings on the table. It's a great hand, right? 20. Usually when you get a hand like that, you just kick back. You're like, yeah, I got this one. You're just looking around. And then you look back at the table. You're like, wait a minute. Why are all the chips leaving me? Because the dealer pulled a 3, an 8, and then a 10. 21, motherfucker. Bye-bye, money. Now, that's not fun when that happens. But what is fun is when you have a good hand or not even a good hand, and the dealer pulls that 3 and then an 8. So now it's an 11, and you're going, oh no, a 10's got to be around the corner. Then the dealer pulls a 4, 15, and now a 10. Boom, bust. Everybody at the table wins. That's exciting. I mean, your heart is beating. So that moment when you don't know whether you won or lost, that's exciting. So these feelings of being nervous, those are the moments in life where you feel fully alive. Skateboarding is another one of my hobbies. And look, I'm not going to pretend I'm a Tony Hawk where I go do crazy stunts, all right? I stay within my limits for the most part. But every once in a while, I like to do something that makes me nervous. Maybe I'm going down a pretty fast hill, and if I wipe out, well, it's not going to be a pretty sight. And it's not going to feel good either. But that nervousness keeps you focused. So now you get into that flow state because you have to. You're completely dialed in. Now, if you start going down this hill and the speed picks up and you second guess yourself and then you jump off the board and then you fall over, it's going to be a disaster. But when you have that nervous feeling and you get dialed in and you push through it anyway, that's a really fulfilling feeling. I mean, you can look at some of the clips I have where I come down this hill and it doesn't look as steep on video as it actually is when you're doing it. And you can see how excited I am when I didn't crash, when I actually made it to the field. Because you have that feeling you're going to crash, you're nervous, but that allows you to stay very focused, get in that flow state, and push right through things. Now, when you're really arrogant and you're really conceited, you're never going to get into that flow state. And more importantly than all of that, you're not going to become a good person. And that's the most important thing at the end of the day. Who cares how much weight you can lift? Who cares how good looking you are or not? Who cares how much money you make or you don't make? Are you a genuinely good person? I don't think enough emphasis is put on that. Someone that actually cares about the well-being of others. People you don't even know. Someone that cares about animals, is bothered by suffering and wants to do something about it. Those are the best people out there. People like my friends Ty Ritter of Project Child Save, my friend Melia Kaplan of Voice for the Animals. These people never talk about how great they are. And if there are 2 people that deserve to talk about how great they are, it's definitely those 2, because they're selfless and they do amazing acts of compassion to help others. But they always focus on the great teams they have and how grateful they are to be in the positions that they're in. Now, those are the kind of people we should all aspire to be. So forget about being arrogant, forget about being conceited. Let's get genuine confidence back on the table, and then let's focus on high-level compassion. Compassion is the greatest form of strength that all of us can work on more.